Yo, it's your boy Yoshikidneo, and today we are back in the world of Boridil, the kingdoms of Boridil. Today's session it's honestly got like 1,000 different ways it could go. I don't know what the party's gonna do. Their current situation is that they've been teleported to Qualish's laboratory. They were obviously not authorized to be there, so the defense system triggered and they started to destroy stuff. But that's not what he's mad about. He's mad about one, that people are even there uninvited, and two, that they just stole his shit. They're not cool with, or he's not cool with that at all. So he holds all the power, and this is going to be his opportunity to essentially get some pretty neat stuff from the party. And by neat stuff, I mean their souls. So, should be a good time. Okie dokie. So, the last we left our heroes, you guys were trying to figure out a plan of action after after the Medusa had jumped into the lake that you guys were figuring out was essentially some sort of acid that ate up organic materials. This being so, and the fact that most all of you are made of organic material, it was almost impossible for you to follow her. But Cyrene, being a giant eagle, and Lacan having a tether attached to her for the moment, he was able to essentially pinpoint her location and follow her, which led into a very large structure that all of you ended up coming to after trying to figure out, do we follow her still or what, and you did. Inside the structure, it looked to be sort of like some sort of like garage. There were a lot of unfinished large metal vehicles, it looked like, a bunch of spare parts, as well as one vehicle that looked sort of like a scorpion, and was probably operational or not. You couldn't really tell, but it was there. The Medusa looked at all of the glass figures inside, and that didn't take too long. And before you knew it, she was out of there chasing this giant mechanical squid thing that had been the source of this sort of unease that Alfric had. This dark shadow that had been kind of keeping an eye on you guys and following your every move, seeing if you got close enough to the lake or not. Just gauging, from a safe distance what you guys were up to. The Medusa started to chase it, which proceeded with Lacan and Cyrene chasing the Medusa, at which point Lacan jumped off of Cyrene's back into the acid lake and started to chase on foot. Huh?
Was on Alfric at the time.
Oh. Honestly, doesn't matter. Anyway, you jumped into the lake and started to proceed to chase the Medusa and started to engage in combat again, which the Medusa was pretty much just trying to get away from you. After it found that you were hightailing it and it wasn't going to be able to get to the squid. Whereas the rest of the group ended up getting on top of the largest building in this city, and the squid kind of kept an eye on you guys as well as what was going on with the Medusa. And the moment the Medusa was out of sight, it jumped back in the water and started to swim away. Alfric, having the remote control that was used for the coffin device that was on the back of the squid, pressed a button which caused it to detach from the squid and seemingly cut the power from the squid. He then cast Levitate, was able to bring the coffin up and open it, and you guys found a large blue gloop inside of it that had this weird sort of metal headband and these shackles that were attached to the back of the coffin by these silvery threads. Meanwhile, Lacan chased down the Medusa, and with the aid of Shojin's astral construct, they were able to kill the beast, and Lacan brought the body back as proof, leaving the head inside of the lake. You guys then talked to the ooze and figured out that it was a Kinku priestess that had been trapped inside of this coffin with a portion of the lake and essentially melted down into this goop that you see now by Qualish. She didn't have any say in this. She was essentially being kept as prisoner in this coffin, and you guys have released her. She then, after realizing that the Medusa was dead, she had asked you guys to dump her into the lake of acid so that she could better help you guys find where Qualish is, so that she could end up doing what he did to her to him, something like that. Which you guys wanted to take a small rest before doing so, but she was growing impatient, and y'all kept talking to her, and she ended up essentially threatening to engulf you guys if you didn't move. So a couple of you grabbed the bauble and teleported away, and the rest followed. Before Lacan had done it, it had engulfed the whole area, and it noticed that it had no effect on Lacan, which he didn't know why that would happen, but apparently merging with the whole lake, she retained some of the memories of the giant lake ooze creature thing. You guys got into Qualish's laboratory, and after sort of moving about and looking at stuff, a sort of floating mechanical device asked for a retina scan from somebody to see if you had authorization to be there. You guys spread out, getting ready for the worst, which kind of happened as Alfric let his retina get scanned and was unauthorized. So these tiny little mechanical contraptions sprang to life and started to attack you guys. You guys were able to destroy most of them, as well as Lacan and Shojin started to take out the pipes that seemingly powered them. And then after your victory, you started to sort of browse around the laboratory, seeing what was all there. And Hope and Shojin specifically took a bunch of really cool stuff. And it was at this moment that Qualish himself had popped out of the teleporter, had walked into his laboratory, and started to essentially start screaming at you guys. Which is where we will start our session. But first, I need to go get my dinner. So, give me like 2 minutes and I'll be right back. You guys can discuss things or whatever.
Man,
So we're
he
gonna kill
always
him, right?
doing this.
I say kill him.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
then again, I'm just a
we-
friendly conscience, so
we totally have the resources to do that,
I'm
you
your
know?
conscience.
I'm your conscience.
Ooh, this boy done made me some characters.
Oh, I did wonder if he did some for me as well. So now I asked for some too.
Check and see, because he did me good.
He shot me. Yep, he shot me good.
Did we fight this mech in the middle? Does anybody remember that? I don't think.
Wait, say that again?
We did not do that.
Okay, thank you.
Dope. You got me too. Alright, I got me some characters to make.
Are you thinking about switching off of Saberwolf?
No. I've got to have backups just in case the inevitable happens.
All right,
This
just
Brady's
pull the
campaign.
Gerald, and I am done. Pulling a
Bro,
Gerald.
don't do that. Don't sully my name.
But if you
You
pulled
did
a
that
Gerald,
yourself.
you should have first started off. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Exactly.
And
Exactly. So you
whoops.
did.
then type
I
in the
guess
chat.
I'll
Be right
let me
back.
just restart the session and I'll do all of that over. And on camera, it will be exactly like pulling a Gerald.
I'm looking dead at him right now too.
I'm just joking. I'm gonna do that.
Exactly.
Anyway, Qualish walks in, and he's got this really intricate-looking staff, as well as this armor that has a bunch of like glass vials filled with like liquid and stuff like that. A bunch of piping that sort of moves from like over his shoulder into his chest, into his back, into his abdomen, and stuff like that. But he comes in and he scans the room real quick. What in the nine hells are all of you doing in here? Why are you touching my stuff? And why are all of my little constructs in shambles? Who cares to explain? Actually, hold on. Morgan, activate operation. Activate protocol Sugar Plum Fairy. Activating. Sugar Plum Fairy in effect. Now, anyone care to explain before I get a little angrier?
I'll take a shot at it. Martin, go ahead.
All right, so Martin operates within Brady's campaign. It's a really scary situation for him because he's just like a commoner and has approximately 1 HP.
Correct. That makes sense.
I was gonna
Apologies.
say.
I was looking at the name. I was looking at your name. Apologies.
Are
I'll
you
take it from
Koalish?
Yeah, I approach him, asking, "Huh? So you, sir, must be Qualish. My name is Kai," and then I reach in for a handshake.
So you notice he is a halfling, so he is quite short. He's shorter than all of you. But yeah, as Cyrene says, "Are you Qualish?" and Kai, pretty much comes up and does the same. Yes, I am Qualish, and I would say it's a pleasure, but it is actually not. It is the complete opposite of a pleasure to meet all of you, whoever the hell you are, and whatever the hell you're doing in my lab. So I'll ask
We-
again, why
we
are you in my lab?
We were looking for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were.
Yeah, security just started attacking us before we could do anything.
What timeline are you from? Why are you looking for me?
Timeline?
This
Yes,
one?
did
Yeah,
I
I'm
stutter?
also puzzled by that. So as they're doing this, I'm gonna like kind of go up to him and like kind of escort him and try to like lighten the mood up a little bit. It's like, man, you must be tired, dog. So what are we doing here? That's the good question right there. And I want to kind of like
Brady, can you?
guide him to, I don't know, his desk area if he allows it.
What's up, Dallas?
I was going to ask, could you just put his token up there real quick? I don't remember him to see what he looks like. I might not have been paying attention if you actually. Oh,
Here he is.
Oh, cool. Looks like a very short adventure.
I would stay your hand, boy, before I take it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I'm perfectly
So
fine
much
in
for
this
that.
position in front of the exit. Now,
okay.
why are you looking for me? Who sent
See,
you?
that's the $1 million question or gold question. Why are we here? I just don't know. But anyway, I do know we were looking for you. So how's everything been? You been all right? Everything good? And don't mind these little constructs of yours. And Kai goes to like try to put all of them in like a stack, like in a
Brady,
bundle together. Oh, I can't move.
What's
these.
up?
what year is it for us?
It is year 1134. The current month is Tar Shak. The Claw of the Storms is what it's called, and it is the 6th day.
You said 1134 for the year?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, 1134.
I'll approach a little bit. We are in the process of trying to figure out how to activate one of the pillars of the Lightbringer, and so far it has led us in your direction. It is the
We're
year
sorry about all that trouble.
34 for us.
Interesting. If you're trying to light a pillar of the Lightbringer, then why don't you talk to the one that protects it? Edrol should be somewhere in that city of glass, and that's where I assume you came from, as it's one of the only portals open to this place.
We have not encountered. Sorry, was it
Acid
Edrol?
light?
Correct, Edrol. Edrol.
We have not encountered this Edrol. The only being we encountered was some Kinku priest in a gooey light manner. Don't know how to quite describe the creature's current state.
I know the creature's current state.
Oh, also, don't forget about the Medusa. And he kind of says,
The Medusa, you say? If you met the Medusa, surely you met Edrol. He was right in front of the coffin.
can any of y'all verify that? And I look
Is
back at the group.
Edwall the giant metal squid?
Was Edrol a paladin of sorts?
Correct. A paladin of Helm.
He was glass when we found him.
As he should be.
And we were attacked by these slime creatures that tried to take control of his body. He is currently in multiple pieces on the ground.
Oh, that's rich! Oh, you done fucked up, y'all. You're telling me you destroyed the Paladin of Helm. That was part of the puzzle, and you fucked it up. Oh, that's rich. Honestly, I'm not very mad about my constructs anymore. Starts to walk, and as he's laughing, he's looking around his lab to see if anything else was disturbed. So if you've destroyed him, then I believe you've destroyed all hopes of getting to that pillar of light, as he held the key, which was to revive him so he could activate the bauble that I made specifically for him. But as he's no longer alive, how do you do that? He starts to glance over at his desk, and he strokes his chin a bit. Now, what would lead you to destroy a glass figure that's seemingly standing still? Did the slimes take it over and start controlling it?
That is correct. These
Precisely as I programmed them, so that much is good. Did you happen to perhaps kill a couple of the slimes beforehand and save the glass bodies? Did you see that that was a possibility with certain magical effects?
No.
No, we didn't do that. We were kind of chasing the Medusa around because
Why?
she was
The
Because she was
Medusa was
attacking you?
also protecting the bauble from intruders.
Well, she kept trying to look at us, and we weren't trying to look at her. So I don't. At this point,
Does
I
a
don't even know what's
priestess
going on.
does a priestess ring a bell for you, Qualish? Because I mean, you program
Yes,
these
the Kinku
creatures.
priestess. I know exactly
So
who
you
you're talking about.
cool. So you guys, y'all pals or?
Oh, no. Quite the contrary. The priestess is the reason the Medusa was in her current state. When I found this city, it was overrun by the Kinkus, as well as those glass people that you seemingly destroy for no reason. But
Ah,
Right.
I had found a salvation for this city. My newest invention that I had ended up completing at the Monastery of the Distressed Body made a mechanical teleportation system. I was able to, well, it was an accident, but it was for science, nonetheless. But I was able to open up a portal to the abyss of, specifically the layer that the Slime Lord lives on, which is how this
Oh.
Wow.
slime lake came to be. It drove the Kinku out, which gave me the peace and quiet I needed for the rest of my experiments. Except for the priestess was very, very unhappy with this, and always tried her best to find a way to get back at me for taking over the city, essentially.
so that's how we got involved in. That makes sense.
Sounds about right.
Now, in terms of the Medusa, that poor creature, the slime has no effect on her because of her undead state. And I'll assume that you don't have any reasonable idea or correlation as to why she's in that undead state. I'd love
Nope.
to hear what you all think. He starts to walk around, observing more of his lab.
Siren, you have any good idea why they would be like that, or why she was like?
No. We didn't really stop to talk to her, so
Well, there's your first mistake.
Can she talk? Oh, never mind. Yes, she can. Never mind. Forget that.
Well, it's kind of hard to talk to somebody that you can't look at, and she was pretty adamant about leaving where she was. This is why we were trying to, I guess, hunt her down and catch
Well,
up to her, but she was all over the place.
she was like any other creature, born with a. Well, she, like most Medusas, was cursed with her stone-turned vision, except for hers was rather unique. Instead of turning to stone, you would turn to glass. A lot more fragile, but a lot more beautiful, especially in the eyes of a Kinku. The priestess was able to see this effect, had heard stories of a Medusa that lived in caves nearby the city, and eventually they went hunting for it, found it, and enslaved it. Brought it to that tower, chained her up, and the priestess would organize rituals of Kinku, looking into the eyes of Medusa, turning into glass in various poses to decorate the city, essentially granting them a very proliferated immortality. But the Kinku followed this priestess without batting an eyelash. Once the Medusa finally came to the end of her life, the Kinku priestess had found a way to bring her back into undeath, to essentially keep her as a servant, or a slave, for the rest of her existence. Chained up inside of that tower, with no reason except for to look into the eyes of those unfortunate, turning them into glass as mere decoration for the Kinku priestess. And you all killed her. Now, When I came to this city, and he starts to walk, he looks at the wall, and he starts to sort of like poke at the piping and stuff like that, and then he begins to look at all the vats with the hearts, making sure that they're not punctured in any way, but continues to walk nonetheless. When I essentially saved this city, I also saved the Medusa. I was able to calm her down from afar after gaining her trust. It took about a week or so, but when I unchained her, she did not attack me, for I was her savior. It was about that time that the Paladin of Helm approached me in this city, seeking a place to hide, or at least a place to, yes, hide his pillar of light from evildoers. We all came to the conclusion that the Medusa and the Paladin of Helm would be able to collaborate on this one. The Medusa, being undead, had no real yearning to go and live her life as a skeletal figure, so she agreed to locking herself inside of a coffin with the bauble that I created, housing a portal to the temple, or to the pillar of the Lightbringer. She then had a special scroll with her that would undo the petrification of a single person, and the Paladin of Helm looked her in the eyes and turned to glass, knowing that only those of pure of heart would ever waste such a spell scroll, such a powerful scroll, on him to bring him back to life, and that would be your passage to the Pillar of the Lightbringer. But,
Boy,
we
did he
know how
think
that
wrong.
went. Yes, but I guess maybe that is karma. Who knows? His heart was in the right place, but his mind, I don't believe that was the best of thinking on his part.
Did he leave anything behind explaining that? Because how would somebody know that?
No, because he doesn't want people to find the Pillar of the Lightbringer. At least that's how it came across to me. The pillar essentially should be always lit. I don't really remember all of his teachings, because the gods are not really my thing. I'm a man of science, not of religion. But if evil were to somehow creep its way to the Pillar of the Lightbringer, then that could cause issues. So, if he has the only key, but only a good person would see that he is petrified and would use such a powerful spell to bring him back, that should be, I guess, the solution he was looking for. Well, now that I've babbled enough, let me hear you all babble. Mind explaining me why I'm missing quite a few items off of my desk work? I'm not pointing fingers, but according to my surveillance footage, and you notice on his wrist he's got sort of like this little video screen that he occasionally has been glancing at. Because he's been walking around, you can't see exactly what's on it. Anyone care to explain?
Well, as a person of science myself, I saw the great value in your notes, and I was going to take them for myself, considering I thought you were dead.
And why would
Not
you
gonna
think
lie.
that I'm dead?
Because you're ancient.
And? You being a tiefling,
Are,
you do know that there are creatures out there that are immortal, correct?
yeah, I know a few.
I'm sure you do. There are also ways of prolonging one's life through magic and, from what I found, technology.
Wait, what do you say?
Ooh.
After magic?
Technology.
Okay.
And
Well,
I would think that you being a studier of the sciences would possibly understand that, but I guess you do look quite young. You do have a lot more to learn, little one.
That is true. Do you want your stuff back?
Perhaps. But first, how about you all explain to me exactly where it is you all come from, because you look to be from all walks of life, and I'm assuming you came from Boridil, correct? Since that is the last place my teleporter was calibrated to.
Yep, we're definitely from Bordeaux.
Yep. No objections there.
Demons have started invading Borodil, and they're getting ready for some sort of smackdown to determine who's going to be the demon lord of Borodil now, I guess. And
He looks at his watch on his other arm. I guess it is about that time that they do that again.
yeah, and the only way for us to stop that is to, light the pillars of light, because the because they haven't been working properly, I guess. So.
And why is this your concern?
Because it's our
We
world,
like living.
and the demons are killing thousands of people.
Right.
And they do this all the time, honestly, and they do it on other worlds as well. And they're still running around, doing their thing. They're still living on.
You seen this happen before?
At least 3 times.
And
somewhat.
You're okay with it? How have you managed to evade all this?
For those of us with short lives, it's been hard having to literally watch the demons kill our family and friends. So
I get that, and that's why you should learn to be on your own. It is a lot easier when all you have to worry about is yourself and whatever the creations are that you create, such as my constructs. You may have smashed them, but with a few hours of time, I will reprogram them and recreate them. But yes, the Demon Lords have seen this happen at least 3, maybe 4 times on other planets as well. And it inevitably ends once they figure out who the Demon Prince is, they leave, almost as if they were never there. Although you do see the scars of whatever their war had brought. But as long as you stay out of their way, you should be fine. It's usually the major civilizations that fall during this time, which begins the whole cycle anew. Other ones will rise, new ideals, new kings and queens, new forms of government. It's all very interesting, and it's quite enjoyable to watch from the sidelines.
Oh, you're on a whole nother level. So whatever's left, they just let them rebuild. So once it's done and over with, whoever survives,
yes, they just leave. Usually, the battle for the Demon Prince title is very, very bloody, and because of from what I've seen, the 2 times that I, was able to stand witness from afar, of course, they are quite destructive, these Demon Lords. I was able to witness, and they came within inches of taking each other's lives before one finally reigned supreme. And at that point, being so weak and having so many enemies on the material plane, you really have no choice but to go back home. By the time you go back to your plane of the abyss, that cancels out the ritual that brought you here in the first place, and now you're stuck there until you have a new cult following. But by that time, the cults that they've amassed have been hunted down by the remaining survivors of the kingdoms, and then they start to build anew. But there's always a few that get away, which thus brings the cycle all the way back. Who's winning right now? My bet's on Zugtamoy.
Is that the mushroom one?
Yes, she's some sort of fungus. Usually she does like to take the shape of a female, but she's essentially genderless and essentially shapeless.
Yeah, we saw her take out, legions of people. with ease.
That's exactly. If she was given enough time, and more than likely, if she's able to do that, she was. Whatever population she's taken over, there's no hope of any of them surviving. Very tragic indeed, but perhaps someone will take their place and be stronger for it.
Yeah, that desert area just did not seem the place to be. It was pretty bad.
Unsafe.
But let's hope that she's strong enough this time to take on Demogorgon. He's a nasty beast.
Who was that?
Think of a gorilla with two heads. One arm is normal, the other is an octopus sort of thing. And then make him like 20 feet tall, maybe 30. He grows.
Whoa.
But anyway, enough about these demon lords. Now that you've realized that you royally fucked yourselves, what's your plan now?
Well, we can't
Probably
get
go on
out.
vacation.
And we can't get out, so I guess we're just stuck here with you until the time being.
Can you make us immortal?
Ooh, can you?
I'm sure that I could do it, but will I do it? Absolutely not. Judging by your character, you do not deserve such a prize. And I don't think
I
that
can
you'd
earn
be
it.
good candidates from it. Perhaps.
You don't
And speaking
know.
of earnings, there are stipulations to what you have done here today. Things that I think we can all come into agreement to, especially since you are at my mercy currently. But if you would rather keep the nice, lax chit-chat going, we can certainly do that, or I can throw down my offer to you. Your choice. I have
Well, let's
a
hear it.
lot more time than all of you.
So seeing as you've seen all this go down, you wouldn't happen to know how to stop it from happening, would you?
Sure, there's
Of
plenty
course
of
he
ways,
knows
but
how.
I've never really tried, nor do I really care.
So, hypothetically speaking, if you did decide to try, how would you go about doing it?
Well, from what I know about the demon lords, is they all have some sort of high priest or priestess that is essentially their tether to the material plane. And these folks can be all manner of beings. Typically, they are, like Yanagu, for instance. The priestess is, well, it's typically a null priestess that brings him and tethers him. But she's a crafty one. She doesn't reveal herself very often, and when she does, more than likely it's not even her. It's a spell that she put on some poor bloke or something of that matter, and transform their appearance to look like her, to where she can essentially take over their body and be in a different place without being there physically. It's actually mind-boggling and very smart. These creatures are not... You should not deal with them lightly. But if you were to kill that priestess, then Yunagu's tether would be severed, he would be weakened, and with a matter of time, he should be sucked back to his lair of the abyss. Very easy. Or there's another way. You could, I guess, meet them in open battle, and if you wound them to where they, I guess, have to retreat, then they go back to their plane of existence and their tether is severed. And then it goes through this whole other debacle of trying to summon them, which there's only so many royals in the world. But once you go through all of them, you kind of ran out, and now there's no way you can come back to this world. So
What makes
these are
someone
not
royal?
easy. There's some special essence to their blood. I don't exactly know, as I have never been able to get a hold of any of it, but there's something from the upper planes that I've heard that runs through their veins and allows all manners of creatures to be summoned to this realm, whether that be good or bad. Yes,
So
the
if
demon
you are-
lords. There's plenty of. Honestly, I could probably think of 1,000 ways to defeat them. But like I said, I'm just watching. I do not care what happens to the world as long as it does not interfere with what I am currently working on. And he turns around to look at his this giant suit of armor that he's got in front of him.
So have you ever, since you've been watching from the sidelines, have you ever seen anybody like attempt to stop this from?
Stop the demon lords, mortals like yourselves, yes, and guess where they are now?
Prospering very well.
Oblivious to what he just said. Where are they?
Well, they're dead
They're
because one,
dead.
they were killed, but two, it would have already been way past their prime livelihood, and they would have died either way. But yes, I watched and they were slaughtered. I think one of them lasted maybe 12 seconds, but most of them only lasted 6.
12 seconds.
There was one that shot a fireball that almost took out a whole village. That was intense. He looked like an orc. He was blue and had wings. Really cool looking guy.
This is like all a movie to you.
I don't know how you know what a movie is, but yes, exactly.
This is
Right.
nuts.
So, what is your construct for anyway?
This is my latest invention. And he turns around and he's got his arms outstretched to it. I'm trying to develop essentially a shell for frail humans, or humanoids rather, that would be able to bring their power to a greater level, give them abilities that their mortal bodies would never be able to do without the aid of magic, and this is all to try to put technology on the map, essentially at the same level as magic, because if we were able to achieve that, can you imagine all the different things with the combination of technology and magics all together? It's brilliant. But I've been having trouble powering this thing outside of this laboratory, which is why, well, I'll tell you about it in a moment. But yes, it's a suit of power armor. It can achieve flight. It can shoot red beams of light at its enemies. It can protect you and keep you stable out of harm's way if you were to fall and retreat to safety. It's perfect, especially for a warrior.
What happens if you have a power source within a pocket dimension that connects to, like, I don't know, the inside of the construct?
Well, that's the thing. I've been theorizing, and I just got back from a long trip, and I feel that I have found my solution. But it's something that's not easy to obtain. Well, I guess it is, depending on who you are, but I'm thinking that perhaps not only using your own lifeblood, but using your soul to power the machine might do the trick.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we become the machine, basically.
No. Nope. You give a portion of your life, and it powers the machine. Obviously, it's not a permanent thing, as eventually your life will fade, and once that happens, so does its power source. But I'm still trying to I'm still in the weeds on the whole thing. I haven't been able to test it yet. But that does come to my proposal for all of you. You won't like it at all. I already guarantee it. But it's the only way you're really going to be getting out of here anyway, so you don't have much of a choice.
Okay, so what do we got to do?
There's a few things that I have in mind, but let us keep talking. You have so many good questions, and I haven't talked to somebody in quite some time, at least on the intellectual teaching level that I've used to.
Oh, okay. I got a question. What is this? And I show him where I got bit. Should I be worried about this?
No, no, that is from that construct there that I turned into a snake. And essentially, that bite mark, it might scar, but you're young, so maybe not. But it's able to inject a venom that has one of many different effects depending on, I guess, which canister it's using. But you should be fine.
What about those marked by the demons? Do you know anything about how that affects them? How to remove those marks?
Also,
Not
I
at
don't know.
all.
Out of character, I was talking about when I got bit by that vampire.
Oh, that. I thought you were talking about the snake bite. With the vampire, he looks at it. Ah, cleverly placed on the neck, just like the stereotype. But it is honestly a very easy place for a vampire to bite you. Luckily, I'm assuming that you didn't die, and obviously, I mean, you look dirty, but were you buried at all?
No.
Then you're fine.
But okay, so curious about something. What happens if I do get buried?
Well, if you were to die from that bite and then be buried, the next day you would be under that vampire's complete and utter control. Essentially,
Will you
God.
get
slave.
vampire powers?
Somewhat, but very limited.
Would sunlight be a weakness to him?
Oh, yes.
So you just want us to burn you then, Kai?
I turned.
He kind of scratches his head and he looks at Sho and he's like, why? He wasn't. The curse isn't affecting him. You just want to burn your friend? I'm assuming
No,
if you want to
somebody-
burn him for no reason.
Well, on the off chance that he actually does die and you can't do anything about it.
I almost died in here.
How many
Sorry,
days have passed since you were bit?
Dang.
The fact you have to
time
think
is-
about it tells me that it was at least more than a day ago. You're perfectly fine.
All right, cool. I'm fine, guys.
Yay?
Yeah, I go to Hope and try to high five.
Okay.
Do you accept my high five?
Hope
Left-handed.
high fives you.
Yeah. Don't say that.
I had to unmorph my so I could talk out of character, but yes, Hope would high five you.
All right, cool.
It's a very awkward high five, kind of a little bit limp, but it does happen.
Is that what kids are doing these days? It always changes. It's so strange. But yes, you shouldn't be turning into what they call a vampire spawn, which means you will not be under the control of whatever vampire bit you, and I would count your blessings for that one. It's not
but
a fun lifestyle.
Oh, but I have something crazier for you. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I hear voices sometimes. Not sure where they're coming from.
They come from people's vocal cords, and he grabs his throat and sort of rings it. See, when you put your fingers against your throat and talk, you feel those vibrations. It's very, very simple anatomy.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I hear them in here. And then I point to my head.
Interesting.
And it's not me that's doing it.
So it's a completely
say,
different voice.
That's bold thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Completely different. Huh? I turn
Have
around
you
and
considered the idea that you might be a vessel for some weird spirit thingy?
no.
Possibly a demon?
No. Well, I did hear my brother talk about it one time, but I don't know what happened with that.
Have you considered going to, I don't know, literally any cleric?
No.
Honestly, that might
Can
be your
you do
best bet.
all of those things?
Otherwise, no, I don't really have much experience. I don't much try to experiment on people with voices in their heads. It hasn't really fallen in the realm of any of my inventions. So that I unfortunately do not have an answer to. But like your tiefling friend over there has said, perhaps a cleric would. Maybe an exorcism would work. I don't know.
Oh, that could
But
be
I've
fun.
heard that
I've never seen an exorcism before.
could be fun or could be your worst mistake ever. Who knows? Could go really either way.
Have you considered trapping souls to power your machine?
I have, actually. And I plan to do that here soon. With your help.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Wait. What?
Is that what
I
you
know a
did
guy.
to? Is that what you did to the priestess? Why was the priestess all goopy like?
The priestess was put into a little coffin contraption. Obviously, you've seen it. If you've seen the priestess. The coffin is essentially, think of it as a conduit of power. You put something in it, and eventually it takes whatever life force they have, traps their soul within it, and it's able to power whatever machinery it is attached to. But the thing is, it's so bulky, and he turns back to his suit of armor. It wouldn't fit on this thing, and at least not in the way I intend it to. So I need something smaller. But I do know that it does work, as that Kinku priestess is obviously still alive, somewhat, I guess, although she's a pile of goop in a coffin. And I know that it can work. You just need the special astral cord. And he goes over to the silvery cord and sort of like strums it.
So, question.
She's not like that anymore.
What would
What
happen
show's
if she
question?
merged with a lake? What would happen if she merged with, say, large slime lake?
The fact you're asking that question leads me to one of two conclusions. Either one, you open the coffin and she still had some sort of mobility somehow and jumped in, or two, you open the coffin and dumped her into the lake. But either way, she's in the lake, and she is a goo, and so is the lake. And the fact you said merge, right? That was your exact wording.
I mean, tomato, right?
I would say that we have quite a big issue.
Right. Good thing that was all hypothetical. So again, hypothetically, how would we stop that? Keep it under control, You're smart.
The only thing I can think of is you would have to find the exact patch of goo that is actually hers. You would have to extract it from the rest of the lake, and then you would be fine. But good luck. That's like putting a droplet of water in a running river to try to find the exact same droplet of water downstream. It's very impossible. Although, he kind of strokes his chin, I could probably make something to do that. But that's a waste of time. What course of action would you ever need such a device? No, I think the only way would to be get rid of the whole lake. And the only way that I know how to do that is to do the reverse of how I brought it into the world anyway. But I don't want to do that. It protects my lab, kind of. Except for you all. Which I'm still... How were you able to find my bauble?
Right.
Well, Mr. Black Armor Man over there can walk through acid.
If that's the truth, then you must be a pile of bones by now. Or maybe you've got some sort of special skin and organic material. Is your black armored friend, what race are you?
All right. So, as the helmet comes off, y'all know what that is?
I don't
No?
actually.
Skeletor?
That was
I was
Oh,
gonna
okay.
say something. I was gonna
It's
say
been a
something
long
way
time.
That's his theme.
Oh, so are you a skeleton?
That is what you
You-
see.
Oh my
Well.
god.
That's
Cool.
disgusting.
It's a
Kai
clean
throws up.
skeleton.
Shojin
You said
touches
Kai
the
throws up?
skeleton.
Yep.
Never mind, he's far away. I don't touch it.
Morgan, towels, please. Yes. And you see these slits on the wall open up. They're like small little holes. And you see these sort of like helicopter things come out that have like hand attachments. And they're holding cloth and stuff. And they go to where Kai threw up and they clean it up. And then they retreat.
Oh, I'm sorry, Qualish. My bad. I'm sorry.
How on earth did you come to be an undead? That's not usually something that comes easy. And I'm assuming that perhaps you've been undead for a long time.
No. Only recently.
Do you care to tell the story, perhaps? I'm intrigued, actually.
One second, changing setting real quick. And it's not really much of a long story. An entity known as the Shadow Lord has allowed me to remain here so that I can accomplish what I want in the meantime.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. So I'm assuming that if you say in the meantime, that means that your quest that you're after does not give you life forever?
According to him, he can only allow me to exist here for so long. So yes, a sense of a limit.
Kind of shakes his head and goes, "You all are quite an interesting bunch, but I have to say that he takes the cake. Unless anyone has a story that tops that." And he kind of looks around to see. You being possessed, honestly, just sounds like you probably walked into a dark forest and some witch gave you a cookie and you ate it. Which, honestly, from what I know of you, you'd probably do that. No offense, boy, but he puts his hand on your, since he's shorter than you, he sort of hand on your forearm. You gotta brighten up, kid.
So as he touches me, he feels his hand get like really, really hot.
He retracts his hand. Huh. Interesting. Maybe you two are tied. I'm not quite sure yet. Not without the proper experiments, but that's not why we're here. No.
Ooh, can I have a metal arm?
I'm sure I could make it. It'd be a lot easier if you were to completely turn into a warforged, but... Speaking of which, are the warforged doing okay on your plane?
Have we
seen
met a
one.
Warforged? I haven't met one.
I don't know. I don't know. Not that I know of. Brady, are there any warforged from my home country? Out of character.
Yeah, there are Warforged pretty much scattered all throughout the lands. Like, no specific place only has one. Essentially, they are typically like servants. Think of iRobot. They do whatever their masters tell them, and they're mechanical servants. You guys have met a Warforged, though, in the City of Guilds, at least the ones that, were there at the beginning. It was the one that Cyrene talked to when Yanagu was first seen, and then it created a widespread panic, kind of, that the Demon Lords were coming.
Yep.
Now I remember.
But I would say that Kai probably has seen one. Shojin definitely has seen one. Hope, I would definitely say, has seen one. And so have the rest of you.
Okay, sir. So I'm gonna be straight up with you. Since you kind of been straight up with us. So yeah, that priestess, she doesn't like you.
As
Within
I
reason.
do not like her.
Yeah, within reason. So we were kind of sent here to, and I kind of do the gesture like, like I'm slicing throat.
Across your
Like,
neck.
yeah.
You wish you could do that. But I like your spunk. That's one thing you've got going for you, kid. Maybe not your mind, but you've got the right attitude.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I guess we made a deal. I don't really know the specifics of it, but yeah, she was like, hey, we gotta kill you, make you come out. She's gonna trap you in this, yada, yada, yada. But she was getting ready to she kind of enclosed us in. So if we don't come out with you alive, that's not good. That does not bode well for any of us. Well, except for Lacan.
I do have a solution to your issue there, but you're not taking me by any means, and even if you tried, you're good luck getting out of this place then if you do.
No, it's very obvious that we are at a disadvantage here. I mean, obviously you can see we all look kind of banged up. So I mean, I would at least need rest before going another round.
He can create portals to where he needs to go.
Yes, and before you even get any thoughts or ideas, I intend to send you exactly the same spot that you came through. Otherwise, it could screw up the whole timeline and things like that. Especially with 6 of you. Yes, I'm not taking that chance. I've already messed up once and they came after me, but I've paid my dues.
Oh, cool.
Now, the thing
like
is,
time.
though, it kinda has something to do with time, but not on that scale. But what I can do is I actually have a replica of me that you can send to that priestess and let her do with what she wants. She won't really understand that it's any different, except for that it is made out of metal. So I'm sure she'll figure that out pretty quickly, but you can just tell her that my conscience is in there. It speaks like I do. It has the same sentience that I do. It just lacks a lot of my secrets, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And speaking of secrets, it's no real secret, but you all owe me a great deal. So here's the thing. I will be taking a portion of all of your souls, just a tiny little bit. Shouldn't really affect you it shouldn't be much of a travesty, but it will help me to fuel my research and propel it forward, since you were just so very fortunate of coming into my lab unannounced and banging up my stuff and stealing my things. Now, this does not mean that you go away empty-handed. Oh, no. Those things that you stole, the equipment, the notes, you can have all of that. I can replace that quite easily. And I'll have a task for you to do, and once you complete this task, you can have your souls back.
Um,
Oh, that
what
sounds
a-
great. Do you take
what
counter
about
offers? Are you
I'll
sure?
go ahead and say yes, but let me be real with you. I'm almost 100% certain that there's nothing that any of you can offer me that I can't get on my own besides your souls. And it's only a portion. 3/4 portion. I'm just joking.
3/4. That sounds like a lot.
I just wanted to make a Star Wars joke.
Okay, but wouldn't that?
But let's hear it.
Wouldn't that make the
What?
task hard to do with a portion of our soul? Because I'm almost positive that's going to affect our health.
yeah? What
Literally.
would happen if you did that?
It probably would. It definitely, I think, would make dying a lot easier for you, being mortal and all, but that just means you have to use your head rather than your brawn.
Or
Tiefling, what is your counter offer? I'm somewhat interested, but I'll be real,
Well,
not expecting much.
my understanding is that you would greatly appreciate a perhaps steady supply of souls.
Yes.
I happen to know someone who is able to do that.
Do you now?
Yeah.
Well, how do you go about me meeting this person to strike a deal with them?
So Brady, we never talked about this
No,
ever
but
since
I know what
I
you're...
mentioned it the first time. So how would I go about doing that?
I would say... I'd say Hope knows a special way to contact said person once a day. And only once a day. And it can be from anywhere, any plane of existence, to this one particular person. And she's able to hold a conversation for a minute, and then the tether ceases to exist.
Well, it might take a little bit of doing, but I have a way to talk to this person for about a minute. I think it would be in your interest to do so.
It very well would, and I think I'm inclined to take your offer, but as collateral I will take one person's portion soul, to make sure that if the deal did go south, at least you have to come back to me. And I think that's quite fair.
How often does this person have improper deals, Brady? I would know,
Never.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, I'll do it.
You'll sacrifice your soul portion?
It should be fairly inconsequential, as you said.
Correct. It just makes it a little easier, I'm sure, for you to die, but if your person that you're talking to is... If you've got that good of connections, you might not have to worry.
So, would you like to talk?
Yes,
Or
but let
do you
me
want more
finish as well.
information?
No information will be necessary. We can speak to this person, figure all that out. But the final thing is that once I let you leave this place, I don't expect you to not help me in my research, as think of that as your ticket out of here. There are materials in the world that you come from that I need. Materials I have been told I'm not allowed to go get. But nothing said that outsiders can, so if you bring those back, then I will reward you, not only with your soul portion back, Tiefling, but with some other great, I guess, materials that could aid
Knowledge.
you in your, yes, knowledge, materials, items, whatever you deem necessary as payment, I guess.
Could you reverse what we did to the guy? And I'm talking about the Lightbringer to get the pillar back.
Well, we would have to put him back together, wouldn't we?
I believe so, and even then, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah.
Could you possibly make a new key?
Unfortunately, no. It was tied to his life force. And once the
Is there any way
bauble's
to
created, I would have to destroy it to recreate a new key. And if I destroy that bauble, the pillar of the Lightbringer remains in an unknown dimension that I don't know how to get to. I didn't bother. I don't care about these pillars.
So
Is there any way
the pillar?
to... Maybe we can bring him like how you did the Medusa. Or maybe we can somehow finesse the Kinku priestess and possibly do that. One or the other, whichever one's easier.
Actually, there might be one way. You won't like it. It's probably actually the worst possible thing you could do. But we could
When is it
possibly
ever?
try to force open the bauble. It would definitely suck you into the dimension, but I don't know what exactly would be on the other side.
Would it be in the same place at least, or close enough to the Temple of the Lightbringer? Because we kind of head into stuff and then figure out how to get back the way back.
Yeah, if we were to force the bauble open, it would suck you in, and because of the way that the paladin had used his life force, more than likely there's some sort of, I don't know what to call it, but perhaps a guardian. And if you were able to best the guardian, then I'm sure that the pillar would be your prize.
Cool, I'm sure we can start
Oh,
talking
cool.
to the
These people
guardian.
love fighting.
Do they now? I couldn't tell. And he looks at the pile of bits and pieces that Lacan has been gathering while you guys have been talking.
And I laugh, good one. And then I want to go in for a high, medium-ish vibe.
The Qualish?
Yep.
He just stares at you. What? I'm not
Come
touching
on.
your hand.
Don't leave me here. Oh, no. Fist bump. I want to do a fist bump. Come
No.
on. Please.
Would you like me to press this button?
Oh, what
And
does
he
it do?
has-
Does it make you fist bump me?
It
No.
would probably kill you.
Let's see it.
No.
Wait, okay. So if we come back and if we finish the task, you the fist. I think that's pretty fair.
Simple minds require simple solutions. Yes, I will fist bump you after you complete your task.
Simple minds for the wind. A high five myself.
By the way, are you the one that perhaps took all my stuff off the table back there? I saw you pedaling around.
Yes.
Shut up, Kai.
Looks like your
I was
friend
going
has...
I was going to say something, but you kind of just, said you were going to reward us, but I do apologize. I've been kind of psyched to get magic items. That is in no way excuse what I did, but, I'm just coming kind of clean.
Well, it's
here.
fine.
That's just
Consider
what
them
happened.
yours. Especially with taking on my portion of the deal. Those items should help you get the materials that I require, and once you get back with those materials, I'll give you even more if that's what you want. As well as your tiefling friend's soul back.
Even better. Also, Qualish, could you tell me what these do?
Why, sure. Those boots that you're having, I call them the boots of striding and springing. They were one of my earlier experiments, but symbology and all, symbolism and all that jazz, I couldn't ever leave them. But while you wear them, your walking speed essentially stays 30, and even if it isn't reduced if you're wearing heavy equipment and things like that. You can also jump 3 times the normal distance as if you were under the effects of a jump spell. So it's pretty nifty with trying to get around places if you don't have any sort of flying apparatus, but that cloak you have does just that as well. While you're wearing that cloak, you can assign some sort of command word that you want, and it will change into a sort of batwing sort of apparatus. And for an hour or so, while the technology is charged, it will give you essentially the capabilities to fly.
Oh god, scientists are amazing.
It does take anywhere between 1 to 12 hours to recharge it, and if you're using it quite often, you'll have to, more than likely recharge it more. In that final little bag that you have, I call it my little bag of tricks. Essentially, you pull out one of those little baubles in there, and you toss it, and it summons a little creature. And the creature can fight for you and stuff like that, but it also, I've used it before as a sort of way to get audiences with people that have very, very narrow points of view, and if somebody can conjure a black bear out of nowhere and command it to do funny things like sit or do a handstand, you gain audiences with kings and queens. I honestly hate royalty. They're so easy to manipulate.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to complete this task.
So if you
And
want the
show.
full scoop on those items, if you go to the items tab in your journal and go to obtained, they will be the top 3 that I'm putting in there for you all to see what they do exactly. I believe 2 of them require attunement, so it'll take a short rest. Or no, it takes a long rest to attune to an item in order to use it.
Dope.
And you there, Tiefling, you took everything off of my desk. I'm sure you tried opening one of those books, and I'm sure it gave you quite the banging
I
headache.
did. That was my next question.
That is what I have created, and is essentially the schematics to create your own golem of iron. But you have to be quite the powerful spellcaster in order to use it, and I don't believe that any of you, just by looking at you, are capable of that yet, but maybe I'm wrong. Kind of looks at Alfric and looks him up and down, but I don't think I am.
Wow,
Oh, I
Wallace,
meant
you
to
changed my
put-
views. Science is pretty awesome.
Alright, I'll keep a hold of this.
Yes, feel free. So I am assuming we're in agreement then. I take a portion of your tiefling friend's soul. You get me into contact with this mysterious person that can get me more souls. And you all go to get these rare materials for me, bring them back, and get your soul back. As well as being able to leave here. Let's not forget that. That's probably the most important.
Hold on. So once we leave, how do we get back to you?
The easiest way would be to touch that same bauble. And in all honesty, I'm going to keep it that way.
Fair enough.
So we'll still have to be able to get through the acid lake.
We're
Somehow.
Not somehow, as you all happen to go to a very large structure that had a bunch of unfinished work in it.
Yeah, actually.
yes.
I have a mechanical contraption in there that you would be able to walk through the lake with. And it also has a way of connecting to my bauble to allow you to essentially walk through the portal from the inside of it. I call it because I don't name my creations all too often, but it's the apparatus of Qualish. It allows you to get into some very, 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 very deadly locations without having to worry. But of course, if it were to be punctured, that could be deadly in its own right. But if you go and get that, you should be fine. In fact, here, he reaches in and he pulls out what look to be car keys with the Chevrolet emblem on them. Who wants the keys to it?
I do.
He tosses them to Kai.
Are you sure you're capable of piloting literally anything?
There's a
I am
manual
attacking
in
your
there that'll
intelligence.
tell you.
There is a manual in there that will tell you. You hear that? That's what he said.
If
I
you
did
press
hear
that
that.
top red
I-
button twice, the apparatus will come to within 5 feet of you on its own.
This button right here, and he points to
Yes.
the red button.
Now, of course, it won't work
Polish,
unless
did
you're
you make
within
this
60 feet
user-friendly?
of it. But yes. Have fun.
Polish,
Yes.
did you make this user-friendly?
He scratches his head. I'll be honest, it's user-friendly to me. So yes.
See,
If
nothing
you
to
think I made
worry
it
about.
for... But if you think I made it for any random person to use without my instruction manual, then no, it's absolutely dreadful to try to use it. But you have the manual, you should be fine.
Should be fine. Like I don't get why we even keep questioning him about this.
I'm not really questioning him, more so I am questioning you. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4 other people, including myself. If you start to mess it up, I'm sure we can forcefully restrain you. Or something.
Well,
Oh,
the final
we need to
thing
find-
that we need to do real fast is I will need a portion of your soul, Tiefling.
Yep.
And once I have contact with your mysterious benefactor, perhaps I can get this thing up and running to where it can run outside of this demiplane, and then maybe if you come back within a week or two, I could loan it out to your group to give it a test drive.
Let me just write that down in my notes real quick.
What was the missing component?
Well, it's not that it's missing a component, it's missing a power source, and I've not exactly used souls to power it before. I've been using these hearts of various deadly creatures throughout the world, and they make it run quite well, but the moment you detach them, it doesn't work. Soul is definitely more powerful than a material component or an organic component. Yes, once I figure out exactly how to harbor the soul and manipulate it, it should be able to work seemingly as long as the person's whose soul is in there is still alive, I guess.
Being attached to the device, or would the individual be allowed to leave?
No, you can definitely get out of it.
Shall I attempt to power it for you?
I don't think that you can. Especially if this Shadow Lord fellow that you're talking about. I don't think your soul is really powerful enough.
Or
No.
yours?
Probably correct, but I could still at least see what control I can.
Well, in this demiplane, you'll have all the control you need, because it's still drawing the power from these cords.
Well, I meant,
Even if I were to detach it, it still has enough energy to run for a little while. That much I've tried. But the moment I take it away from here, it loses all power.
well, that
If
was
you're
what I
very
was-
curious, you can come back once I figure it out, and I'll definitely, more than likely, have some headway on it.
What were you wanting us to gather for you?
There are 3 materials, and honestly, these materials, not only are they quite safeguarded by some hideous creatures, but they're very, very unique. It's almost impossible to get them mixed up with anything else, so they're obviously valuable. Given to the wrong hands, well, you could probably make a lot of money, but they could also devastate pretty well with these. One of them is a large moon shard. You can find this in the crater of the moon, but I'll tell you right now, the guardian of that location won't just let you get away from it. Another one is the core of the Nevermeltice. I think that one is in the Lonely Peak to the northeast of the Guista Empire. But the denizen that harbors it, it's a nasty bugger. I think it's still around, honestly. It almost killed me, which is why I've never tried to obtain it again. And the final thing is I require a single fiber from the heart of Boridil. That would be found on the mystical island of Tazuria. But looking at all of you, the only hopes you have of getting there would probably be none. So good luck on that one. I'll
can't
type
just
all
take
these
us
out
there?
for you. No.
The point is that he's not allowed back to gather materials on that plane.
Oh yeah, that's right. Why is that?
We hit that because he broke some rules or whatever with time travel or whatever.
Something like that, yes, you are absolutely correct. When I was first learning how to use the teleporter, obviously you just came with dealing with some of my issues. I assume you went through the Temple of the Distressed Body. Is that Bone Devil still there?
Oh yes, he is.
Damn. Well, he was my first mistake. I accidentally brought him into this world, and he drove me out and turned that place into the wretched filth that it is now. I wasn't quite done with my research there, but what can you do? Is the Sphinx still operational then?
That it is. Yes, it definitely took something from me.
Hey,
Oh, then it still works as intended. That's perfect. Perfect for me that I am as successful as I am. Not perfect for you because now it kind of explains your mentality. Would you like
I-
that back?
oh, well, yeah, that'd be dope.
That would be most good.
How many of you lost to the Sphinx? Pretty sure it was just 3 of you.
Yeah, I
Or
know
maybe
I lost
4.
one.
It was
I lost
4.
one for sure.
Mirrored and Cyrene did as well. Well, I don't mind giving it back to you. No, I think I have the equipment to do so. Kirsten, are you having internet issues?
She said she was having sound difficulties.
Okay. Yeah, I want to. She's having internet issues. That would mean I'm having internet issues, but I'm not, so that's good.
I'm back.
Okay, cool. Yes, I can restore what was lost. It shouldn't be too much of a hassle. Obviously, it still maintains its intelligence that it got from you, which I guess could be a good or bad thing. Depends on what you knew. The only thing is, I feel that I should charge you for something else with this service, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. Maybe another material I'll add to the list. Yes, yes. But I don't know what I need yet. Or maybe Hope or Tiefling. Do you mind your benefactor's deal part be the payment for your friend's intellects? I think that sounds fair.
I can't make that decision.
That's fine, that's fine. I understand.
As far as I'm concerned, that has absolutely nothing to do with what the deal is going to incur.
No, that's perfectly fine. Very well. All of you, if you could, and he starts to step over here, stand right here for me, and hopefully you are a fan of electricity.
Where did you point?
My name's Hope. I go by Hope, by the way.
Hope. Very well, I will call you Hope from now on.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and he pushes in one of the stones on the side of that sort of somewhat raised platform, but it's only raised to like his height, so it's only like 3 feet up. And as the stone is pushed in, a sort of slab flips over, and you can see all these mechanical buttons and stuff like that, and knobs, and he starts to type in stuff. If you could get a little more scrunched, as close as you can, we can do this all in one zap. It won't hurt my eel. Kai has the right idea. Perfect, perfect. Good.
Maybe you should hug too.
If you want to. I wouldn't want to touch the armored one at all. Anyway, go ahead and just hold your breath. And, well, if you can. In 3, 2, and push. He pushes a button, and you see these pylons. You see the sort of orb on the end start to glow with this blue electricity. And then it sparks to the other pylon, and it keeps going back and forth. Single strand of electricity. And then he starts to turn the knob, and it becomes more and more constant. Alright, now, this one's gonna suck, but I need all of you at the exact same time to put your head in the electricity, please.
Real quick, was this for the intelligence restoration?
Correct.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have actually moved over there then.
Okay.
I put my head
Yeah, I was
in it
wondering
with
why you were
everybody.
over there.
Yeah, I missed that.
Same.
I somehow missed that specific wording.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys all put your head in, and you feel this twinge of electrical energy. Not only do you take 13 lightning or thunder damage, no, it is lightning damage, but you regain your intelligence that you lost from the Sphinx. So go ahead and put your intelligence scores back to where they were, which should just be a +1 to whatever the score is right now. Or, yeah. Then you should be good. And then he turns the dial, and you can hear like the pylons power down. And for those of you watching, specifically Alfric, Hope, and Lacan, you see that the electric eel started to jolt with electricity. The electricity went into these sort of pipes, and went to this wall conduit that went under the flooring. There. Now you have your intelligence back, so that should be fine. And I guess if you were to somehow defeat the Sphinx and take those stones from her, which I don't recommend doing, but if you were, I guess you could get more. But again, I don't know why you would want to. That's such a magnificent creature. Especially after I made the enhancements to it.
I'm hurt bad. I feel
Yes,
smart.
you look awful.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I can't see straight.
I'll also
Well,
start
while
to
you
like
all
kinda...
recover,
No,
he
should have a
moves.
conversation.
He moves to another panel and does the same thing. Hope, if you would come over here, please. And he pulls
Okay.
out what you can see is a skull with some sort of like really immaculate jewels for eyes and jewels for teeth. But it also has these horns that aren't as long as yours, but they're they go from where the eyebrows would be, and they kind of point straight back to the back part of the skull. But they're only maybe like half a foot long. This shouldn't hurt really, but you'll feel you'll feel something pulling on your very essence. I'm only going to take
Yeah,
a
I
little
know.
portion of your soul, so. And he holds the skull out. If you could put your finger within the mouth.
All right.
And as you do, you feel a needle poke your skin really quickly. And then as the needle retracts out of your finger, you feel your essence being pulled in. You see the gems, all of them glowing. And they're glowing like they're normally like a greenish color, but they start to glow like reds, blues, purples, all different colors. And eventually they calm down. For Hope, go ahead and mark a permanent death fail while your soul is sapped. Once you get your soul portion back, you can unmark that. Like I said, it's a little easier for you to die, but judging by what you've said so far, I think you're smart enough to not make that happen. And once you get all these materials, you'll have it back.
Depend on these people.
He puts the skull back in, presses the slab, and it covers it up essentially. I'll figure out exactly how to harness that. If you could, I guess, contact your benefactor and see if they can meet me in my lab after you all leave. We can talk it out face to face. More than likely, if they are, at least in the very essence, kind of what I'm assuming they might be, since they have something to do with the siphoning of souls in a way, they will not feel threatened at all by meeting me here. And if they wish, I guess I could die. But I don't think that someone that's trying to make a deal would do so.
Oh, that's probably fine.
And while you do that, I'll go ahead and get my doppelganger ready for you to take back to that stupid priestess. He gets up to the top of the stairs, and you watch as he pulls out a wooden box, and he pulls out this little orb. And he presses a button on the orb, tosses it out in front of him, and it starts to float in the air. And you see this sort of blue light sort of scan him up and down a couple times. Afterwards, the blue orb, it floats to about right here. And you can see that as it starts to sort of resonate with this blue color. And this pile of pieces, bits and pieces, start to fly and form the Qualis shape. There's then after it takes on the form of Qualish, obviously you guys can tell that it's a bunch of bits and pieces of scrap metal. It then sort of secretes this fluid that starts to cover all the appendages, and it starts to harden, matching the exact same skin tone as Qualish. It then grows the mustache and the hair that he has. Qualish then walks to another part of his little workbench over there, and he grabs some spare clothes and gives it to the construct, and it dresses itself. Qualish, go ahead and introduce yourself. And as the other Qualish turns around to look at all of you, hi, my name is Qualish, and I guess I'm made of bits and pieces that you destroyed. Now there's two of me. It's perfect.
Hi, Polish.
Hello, they both say at the same time. Oh. I think they were talking to you. No. They were definitely talking to you. They've been talking to me all day. Which, not to be rude or anything, but, how long do you all plan to stay?
I would like to leave as soon as possible. Let me just call my mysterious benefactor.
Perfect. We'll say when you're in this trance is essentially like a telepathic bond. So yeah, 1 second, you guys. We'll be right back. Okay. So as you prepare yourself to call your... He is your father, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yes, what is it, Hope?
Hi, Dad!
Hello.
I found a customer.
Perfect. I'm
wants
assuming
to buy
that he's
souls.
exactly where you're at then.
Yep.
And what are his terms?
So, me being a mere mortal, me, Martin, being a mere mortal, I've forgotten a decent amount of the terms.
Yeah. Essentially what Qualish is wanting is to talk one-on-one, no middleman. So he's offering to buy a portion of Mammon's souls, and they can discuss the terms at Qualish's lab. He hasn't said exact amounts or anything.
He wants to buy an amount of souls, and wants to meet with you in person to discuss that deal.
Very well.
But, like, you're super powerful, so that's not a problem.
No, it's not. I will send one of my lieutenants to deal with it, as I don't feel like leaving. If you could, go ahead and just leave the mark, and that way we can find this place.
Okay.
And thank you.
I'm sorry, leave the what?
Leave the mark. So essentially, you would be leaving a mark of Mammon on the ground. And because it's made with your very essence, so you know that you typically have to spill your own blood to make this mark. And while that blood is on whatever surface, you can't feel its essence, but your father and his lieutenants essentially can. So they would be able to go there. And that's essentially Hope's way of being like, oh, Dad would love this. And she pricks her finger and does the mark and then leaves, and then eventually shit goes missing.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. And I must say, I am quite proud of you, Hope. Keep up this good work. Perhaps maybe we can make you a high-ranking devil one day. You would like that, wouldn't you?
Hey! Thanks.
And then you hear silence. You can feel the tether go away.
Okay. Polish.
Yes. Will he do it? Or she? Will they?
My mysterious benefactor is very busy right now, but will send one of their trusted employees to meet with you.
As long as they, I guess, can do what you said they can, then we should be fine.
They should be able to. Do you have a place where it's not going to be cleaned and you don't particularly care about in the laboratory? Some part of the floor.
Sure, right over here, I guess. And he comes over to this part. I guess I don't walk this way very often. Why?
I need to put a sigil to help them find this place, utilizing the power of magic.
That I understand. Yes, go ahead. And while she's doing that, Morgan, if you could disable Protocol Sugar Plum Fairy, that would be perfect. Thank you. Protocol Sugar Plum Fairy deactivated. Well, whenever you're ready to leave, the teleporter's back online and you can leave. And it's the same way to get back in here. Touch that bauble and it'll teleport you back. I look forward to seeing your great success, and hopefully you enjoy all those little inventions. I have more where that came from if you're successful. In fact, how about each time you get one, if you bring it back to me, I'll reward you. Sound fun?
Oh, super fun.
Real quick, you bring back an invention of some kind?
Well, I am an inventor, yes.
No, I'm sorry, I meant to ask that.
Oh, yeah, an invention.
Okay,
And I'll be honest, judging by the fact that you all look beaten up, is that because of my little creatures, or did you guys sustain damage before coming here?
combination of both.
Well, I don't know exactly what you had to deal with out there, but if my little constructs in here were a little too much for you, I definitely wouldn't go looking for those materials quite yet. Maybe practice and train a little more. But your lives, if hope does end up perishing, which I deeply hope not, no pun intended, but I will be forced to give her soul back, and I will come looking for another one of you to take her place.
That's fair. We won't let her die, though. So we're not worried. We're not going to let her go down.
Do
Good.
you have anything to fix me up a little bit? Because I'm not feeling too good.
I guess I have a potion you could drink. It's old. I don't think it works very well, as I haven't needed it for... Well, I stopped counting after 2000, but I haven't needed it for more than 2,000 years, so sure. He walks up to his bench, and he starts going through a bunch of glass vials, and he pulls one out, and it's kind of... You can see the reddish hue of it, but it's got this sort of like purpley color to it as well. And he kind of shakes it, and he's like, yeah, well, here you go. It's not much. In fact, I think I have 2 more, if anyone cares to try.
Alfred looks like he might need some.
No balls.
I'm gonna take the potion.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll a common potion. It is 2d4 plus 2. Do you want the other two, perhaps?
Take the potion.
Here's one for Hope.
Hey.
Hope will drink the potion.
Okay. Both of you, here is the dice roller. 2d4 plus 2. Anybody
Before-
want the third one?
I'll take it.
He hands it over to you.
Oh, whoops.
You're fine.
Before we teleport back to our plane, do you by chance have something that would counter the Medusa creature?
What the heck?
Damn, that's a shitty roll, but that's it.
That's dumb.
I do not, actually. I've never really seen it as much of an issue. I just avoided her gaze, but we were pretty good friends before she went insane.
Do you think she can be affected by her own gaze?
Didn't you say you killed her?
The Kinku priestess apparently likes glass so much it's going to attempt to restore the head if possible.
You
But
left
might-
its head? There is much that you all have to learn. But, more than likely, if she was able to bring that creature back from the dead, I don't see why she wouldn't be able to reattach the head to something and be able to have her unlimited amount of glass. And unfortunately, I don't have the solution, except for possibly either A, getting rid of the thing by taking it away from the priestess, or destroying it, which seems to be your favorite things to do. But I've not bothered to really invent anything to counteract the Medusa, as she was never a threat to me particularly. Qualish 2 starts to walk towards the teleporter. Well, if you have any other questions, make sure you write them down, and the next time we meet, I would be happy to answer them.
Okay.
I do have a lot of work to do now, though, as he starts to muddle through the pieces of his constructs that have been destroyed. So, good luck on your journey, and, well, actually, he goes back to his thing, or his little work desk up here, and he grabs a, sort of like a little mallet, and he comes back over and he's like, if you're wanting to go ahead and get to that pillar, take the bauble back where you found it, as that is the closest location to the Pillar of the Lightbringer, and smash it with this special little hammer. This is one of the first prototypes that I used in order to create these baubles, and more than likely this will break it and suck you into its dimension. What you will face there, I could not tell you. But in your current state, to go there now would be a one-way ticket to death.
Thank you for the help.
Yes. You're welcome. And you all have a wonderful day. Can't wait for you to bring me back the goodies. And he sort of like takes his fingers and starts to patter them against each other.
I want to take a few feet of rope and actually bind Qualich to bind his hands behind his back. Make it look like we took him by force.
Okay. And as you do that, he kind of looks at you and allows it to happen, and he goes, "This is my purpose."
I was born to die.
Meeksy.
That would be a cursed existence.
I know, right? So real quick, I need to use the bathroom, so I'll be right back.
How the fuck are we going to deal with the fact that there's like a lake of acid outside?
Well, the bird was supposed to have it.
Oh wait,
like,
no, he's
still-
teleporting us to a robomech. Never mind.
Well, also the entity was gonna back off if we could give it Qualish, assuming it's not gonna turn its back on its word.
Guys, we're getting a car.
So how's everything
I think
going,
it's-
guys?
Hold on, so what happened?
It's fucking horrible.
Just think about it. I'm your conscience. I have to tell you to do bad stuff.
I have to work very hard to not die.
Hey, that's a good thing, because it was gonna happen to everybody.
Yes, you should all be very thankful that I have resources that I can use.
Yeah.
Kill them. Kill them.
No, conscience. I'm not gonna kill them. Stop. I'm not evil.
Them.
I mean, I could be a little bit evil.
Face your darkness. See what you're truly capable of.
All right, Saberwolf, I know your backstory quest.
Is it something about facing his own darkness and seeing what he's truly capable of?
Exactly.
Not at all, but okay.
He's gonna lose control over his wolf form, and every time he goes back into human form, he's gonna be like, "What the fuck did I just do?" And there's just blood everywhere.
So now that you've got Qualish number 2 tied up, what does the party do?
Clarification, Brady. Where exactly are we going to be sent back to?
We're going back
Exactly
in
where
that
you
pit.
came from.
Okay. And
The
the
glass
the
killing.
theory behind that is that there is air instead of acid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lacan had made a point to the priestess that y'all couldn't swim in it, and she said that, she was just testing this out real quick to see if it was true, and then she would retract to make sure you guys had a way to get back without, dying. So, yes. I don't know if Lacan, actually, I don't even think the rest of you would even know, because Lacan didn't bring it up, that she had essentially tried to engulf Lacan after everybody else but him had left. So yeah, y'all know that you're fine. Or assume you're fine.
Okay. I guess it's worth mentioning that I bent over and drew something into the ground where Qualish pointed out. Mostly for the rest of the players' sakes.
Okay. Yeah, you guys watch as Hope sort of pricks her finger and draws a symbol in her blood on the floor where Qualish had pointed out. And he kind of scratches his head and shrugs and is like, okay. And then you start walking towards the portal. Now, once you walk through the portal, I do plan to shut it down just to make sure that priestess doesn't try anything. So I'll have it back up and running within the hour to where anytime you touch it, from then on, you should be able to come back.
Cool.
Good to know.
Okay. I assume everybody starts going, onto the teleporter thing. It's only got space for one person at a time to be teleported. So after you step on it, Qualish presses a button and it beams you out of existence. And he does this for everybody.
I was gonna before.
I think
I was just waiting for you to finish. Before he's gonna do that, I'll look to the others. Since the lake does not affect me, I'll go first. Send Qualish after me, and then wait about a minute to make sure.
Oh. Okay.
Also, as I mentioned earlier, it has the Medusa's head, so on the off chance it tries to do something, be alert.
Will do. Sounds good.
And I'll step in first.
Okay. So Lacan goes out, and then Qualish goes out. And since he said a minute, we'll go ahead and go back to this place real fast. So Lacan, you bamf back in. Let me get my song going. Oop. Oh, for some reason it doesn't work anymore. Well, anyway, you bamf back in, and the location is fine. It's currently, not filled with goo. But you hear a voice as you pop in. Ooh, did you bring him? Did you bring him? Yes, yes. And then Qualish pops out from behind you.
Yes. As he pops out, I'll purposely, look like I'm pushing him forward, as if we captured him by force. And kind of just push him towards the entity. Here he is, as agreed.
Perfect. Yes. 1 second. We're friends.
Can you move the lake from the roof and back it away from this building?
Yes. And you see the lake start to part, much as it did before. As you're watching it part, you see a tendril start to reach up on top of the temple, and it wraps around the coffin and brings it into the goop. And as it does, it gets it close enough to where it sort of puts it on the edge of the glass kiln. Yeah, put him in.
All right.
Qualish kind of looks back and goes, "Is this exactly what you intend to do with me?"
Is he talking to the entity or talking to me?
Talking to you. Yes, this is what he intends, yes. Qualish evil, Qualish pay.
Yeah, I'll put him in there with a bit of force, make it look a bit rough.
Okay. So yeah, you push him forward and he starts walking, and you watch as she takes a tendril and smacks him across the face. And as it does, as it hits, you see sort of like a smoke coming from the acid burn. And Qualish goes, ooh. More where that came from, more slush for you, yes. Put him in, cuff him up.
Alright, yeah, I begin, I guess, attaching the cuffs.
Okay. He doesn't resist you. Obviously, he, was told what to do, pretty much, that he was made to be sacrificed. So he doesn't put up any resistance. You get him cuffed up. The entity closes the coffin by force with the tendril, wraps it around, and pulls it back into her ooze. And you watch as she shakes it up, and you can hear the clattering of like metal and flesh inside, and you hear somewhat like you can't actually tell what it is, but you can hear sort of sound vibrations coming from it. And yes, this is fun. This is fun. Thank you, thank you. You and your friends are free to go. And a minute passes by. Unless Lacan has something he wants to say to the priestess.
No, I don't.
Minute goes by and everyone starts to bamf back. As you guys are coming out, Alfric starts asking one more question to Qualish, as Kai is the last one to be bamfed out of there. As you guys arrive back, a minute after Lacan had told you to come through, you wait a couple seconds, and Alfric is not there.
Ruh-roh.
I mean, he's
Was it
probably
because he
having
just
some
didn't
long
make it
conversation.
through, or?
Well, we wouldn't know if he's the last one out. Kai.
Huh?
Where's
The
Alfred?
key you were given.
That what? That what I was given?
The red button.
Oh yes. Oh yes. 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 I double tapped that red button.
Okay. Nothing happens, and you know nothing will happen because Qualish said you got to be within 60 feet for it to do a thing.
Well,
Hello?
Say what?
Thought he said that it was in there.
You guys are over here. He said it was in this location. This is the garage. This is the glass kiln where a lot of glass structures are made. Where this is like the garage where he had said that the little thingy is at.
He was referring to this.
Correct.
If you don't mind, Kai, I can go retrieve the device for us. And I hold out my hand. Does Kai do anything?
hold on. So what's happening? I couldn't hear that.
I said I would
He's
go
asking for the keys so that he
Yeah.
can go and get the thing since he can walk through acid.
I wanted to drive it.
I don't care if you want to drive it. I'll go get it for now.
Promise.
I don't. You saw him as a skeleton earlier. I don't think he cares, but I don't. You can drive it.
But you're promising I can drive it.
Do you think I would honestly care?
At this point, I don't even know what to think anymore. I hand him the keys.
Shotgun.
Alright, I'll proceed to walk to the garage. Once I'm inside, I'll click the button a couple times. And then.
Okay.
I'll try, well, first off, before I. Actually, what I'll do is. When I'm in that building, is there a spot I can get to that's above the acid level?
Yep.
That
On
might
the
have a ramp.
stairwell.
I mean, can, if I were to click the buttons up the stairwell, can it make its way up the stairwell?
I guess you'll have. Well, yeah, it would be able to climb up the stairwell.
Yeah, I was gonna open it above the acid. That way,
Okay.
it doesn't get inside.
So you get in there, you walk up the stairwell, you press the button, and you notice this sort of scorpion sort of thing start to mobilize, and it starts to walk slowly up to the stairwell, and it comes up to where it's within 10 feet of you above the acid lake.
Is it open or is it still shut?
It's still shut, but as you start to inspect it, you see the back side of it has sort of like the submarine sort of like mechanism to opening their, I guess their hood. I don't remember what exactly it's called, but it's got the wheel that you have to turn. It unlocks the chamber. You swing it open.
Basically.
Yeah.
All right,
So you go ahead and open it.
Yep. I'll go inside.
Hop
I'll
inside.
shut, and then I'll look for that manual.
Okay. And the manual is right in front. So inside of this thing, you see that there is enough space to house probably about 10. Let's see. Oh, never mind. It allows 2 medium creatures to crawl inside, but it has 10 levers. That's the part I misread about this thing. So it's almost like a mini submarine, if you will. So you open it up. There's one seat that has all 10 of these levers sort of right in front of it. And then there's another seat that has what looks to be like a sort of scope that allows, and as you kind of like, you're curious, you look out it and you can see exactly in front of the scorpion thing. You look over the manual. Go ahead and roll me a intelligence investigation check, please. So it takes you a little while to comprehend everything. You're kind of like, why are there so many levers to do so many different things? But you start to try them out and you start to get the hang of it. It takes you a couple minutes, but ultimately you start to make it go. And you're able to turn it around. You're able to make it jump sort of off into the lake. And then you put it into its sort of swim mode, and you can feel it retract its legs and then start to propel forward through the acid lake. And fairly smooth. So a total of probably 10 minutes of Lacan leaving, going to get this thing, and then coming back with it pass. But he does pop out in front of you guys. While he's gone for that 10 minutes, is there anything the party wishes to do? The lake is parted to where you guys could get back to the temple. Yes.
Did you bring me anything in exchange for the tapestry?
Yes. And you watch as like you can see the movement of liquid, and she brings like 3 glass objects and plops them out of the acid. All 3 of them are kinku in various poses. One of them has their hands covering their eyes. Another has their hands covering their ears. The other has their hands covering their beak.
Are there like creatures?
Are there what?
Are they basically medium-sized actual creatures?
Yes. Yes. 3 kinkus of glass for 1 tapestry. Good trade. Glass weigh much more than tapestry. Worth much more than tapestry. Yes.
I suppose that seems fair.
And Hope will hand over the tapestry.
Okay. So as you hand out the tapestry, the tendril grabs it and swirls it into the lake where you see it disintegrate. Uh-oh. Whoops. But oh well. You can still have.
Oh, were you not able to see what you wanted to see?
I was trying to get a closer look. I melted
That's
it. Whoops.
unfortunate.
But yeah, now you have 3 Kinku-sized pieces of glass in front of you, doing the hear no evil, see no evil, say no evil, or speak no evil, my bad.
Okay. I have one last thing to ask of you.
Yes, yes.
Can you put these statues onto a cliff nearby, overlooking this entire city?
Sure, sure. Where? Point.
And Hope would point towards, yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yes. You watch as the priestess grabs them, puts them on the edge where her tendrils can reach, and then you watch as the tendrils start to seep into the glass and form those ooze folk. The ooze folk are able to meld with the glass, starting to move them, and they move back. It takes them a little while to climb up there, because it is a steep-ish cliff. But by the time Lacan gets there and by the time you guys leave this general location to get where you need to go, they'll be up there and they go back into their same poses. The ooze starts to slide back to the lake, and they're essentially at the entrance doing the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. 3 Kinkus.
Oh, that's really gonna mess with some adventurers in the future. Thank you.
No, thank you. Revenge. Qualish. Captured. And you can hear the shaking of the coffin again. Ow! Ooh! Hee. Fun.
Why was I
And
born?
the coffin you see. Well, do you want back onto that tower?
Quick
And you see
question.
the tendril point to the location where you guys had freed her, essentially. And what is your question?
I guess Kai is saying this. That bottle that we need for the temple. Do we have that?
Hope does.
Which bottle? I guess out of character. What bottle is?
It's a bauble.
Oh, what is it?
There was
Okay.
an extra bauble that was inside of the coffin with the Medusa, if I recall correctly. That
Okay.
was pocketed.
I was just making.
So I'm
You
thinking
are
what
correct.
we should do is go to that bauble and do what Qualish said and maybe break it and see what happens. Because
Yeah,
the
we
whole
should go.
point of us being here is to try and get to the Temple of the Lightbringer, and if that's the only way, then yeah.
Yes, if we're trying to accomplish our goal, we should go back to where the coffin is, do the thing there. Possibly, in the interim, take a nice, good, long nap. Using the powers of killing everything else that's in there if anything else is hostile.
Above the acid lake water.
Yep, but that should be fine because we're friends with the lake.
Yes, we are. I don't think I would have ever said that before. Friends with the lake.
Yep.
The Deadman Druid evolution.
I know, right? I'm finally achieving my druid status.
And then the bauble with what's his face in it is we have that, right?
Absolutely not.
No,
we're leaving that. Qualish, the laboratory for Qualish is going to be left behind. He's sealed it up so that no one can get in for the next hour or so.
Correct.
So that the priestess doesn't try anything.
We can still. Well, remember though, we can still use the scorpion device. Take it with us. And does it have claws on the front? Like,
It does.
That I grab things with?
Yeah, so if you go to the magic items and go to obtained, it's the very top one. I've made it available for y'all to look at. It looks exactly like that.
Now, the blacksmith that was holding the bauble, was there a... Is it in his hand or is it in a tool in his hand?
It's in his hand.
Are there any tools
From what you
nearby?
remember, Qualish did say to leave the bauble as is, and when you want to come and speak with him, you would just have to go and touch the bauble.
I thought he implied we could take the bauble using his apparatus.
That's what I was
No,
thinking.
he applied you can connect to it with the apparatus, so you don't have to worry about getting into the lake. So essentially, the apparatus, from what you read in the manual, has like this sort of thing that is able to reach out and touch the baubles and open the portal on the inside of the apparatus, so you can walk through the portal. And when you walk back through the portal, you pop back into the apparatus. That's essentially what he was trying to say. He did not in any way, shape, or form intend for you to take the bauble with you. But if you wish to try...
Yeah, because that means we have to come back to this plane of existence every time we want to go see him. Alright, well, never mind then. Guess I'll hand Kai the manual. And I'll start making my way to that temple.
Okay. Kai, go ahead and roll me an investigation check as you start reading over the manual. See how long it takes you to grasp the controls.
Kai sits down and starts reading the manual.
It takes you double the time that it took Lacan, which as you're sitting in the driver's seat, people are starting to notice that it's taking you double the time.
Well,
How they react to that, I don't know.
I
They could guess by how long Lacan was gone. By the point that Kai is getting to the middle of the manual, it's at this point that they're all like, okay, this is exactly how long Lacan was gone for. How much longer is he going to take?
Can we just have Lacan drive?
No.
Why
Lacan,
not?
what is this? And I point to something specific in the book.
Pretty sure Lacan left you.
Oh, he did?
Two
Oh.
people.
Yes, 2 people can sit inside of it at one time.
Okay,
so
yes,
it does
yeah,
take
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gone. I had left the temple.
Oh, well, Lacan is gone. So I keep reading.
Priestess, could you make a path for us to get to,
It's
where
already
the
there.
Medusa was kept? Okay.
Sure, yes. And she collapses the path
Hope starts
to
walking.
this building and opens it up.
Okay, I'm gonna walk with Hope, because if it can only fit 2 people, then...
And because
Hope is
Shojin is
absolutely not
muted,
waiting for this.
yeah, since Shojin is muted and deafened, he waits by and will help our good friend Kai. So Kai, go ahead and roll a second investigation.
He really likes following Cyrene, though.
He does.
That is true.
I don't think he would stay behind.
Unfortunately, never mind. Kai, you do not get to take that 21.
Got
as
him.
they have made it blatantly. Yeah. As Cyrene immediately starts leaving, Shojin runs right up behind her and starts following, kind of to like her right side. And I'm sure Hope, you notice this more than likely than Cyrene does, but As Cyrene's arms are waving, Sho keeps on like trying to accidentally brush her hand with his own. Eventually, Kai figures out the manual and he starts to get the apparatus moving. It took a long time, and you start to move it. It's actually as fast as you guys are. It can't take the dash action, I don't believe. It's got 30 movement speed and it's got a 30 swim speed, so that's pretty cool. From the time that you're going to end up being inside of it, you'll learn the ins and outs. So you can just read what all it can do. The lever mechanisms doesn't truly matter. That's why I gave you the manual, to make sure we don't have to deal with that mechanic. But with those that have not read the manual, if the manual is unkept, you will have to try to roll to figure out what each lever does. Alas, 30 minutes pass before you guys can see that Kai, and actually here, since the waves have parted, he has arrived. We'll say that you pull up close to the temple. Obviously, it can't climb, so it has to sort of sit on the ground level for now. What method do you guys use to climb the tower?
Can I do entangle and then just like have vines grow up the wall?
Sure.
Cool.
I like that idea.
Using
her ultra, you're gonna. I know what Sho's gonna do.
Okay, cool.
He's gonna fucking walk up the wall.
Yep, he starts walking up the wall like it's a normal surface.
See you guys.
So you get up there, walking up there like a spider monkey. Cyrene casts her entangle, and you see the sort of cobblestone ground start to part as these vines start to shoot out from beneath the stone, and it starts to make essentially a ladder, something easy enough for everybody to be able to grab onto and start walking up. Ooh, neat, very cool, very cool. I'll make sure that your little your scorpion thing is nice and clean. Yes, polish.
Thank you.
You watch as the tendrils come out while you guys are still, one at a time climbing up this thing, and it starts to essentially wax the apparatus of Qualish. The moment that one of you, or the last one of you that's climbing, gets above the 30 foot, the entire pathway collapses on itself as the lake sort of settles. That you guys are back to the top of the tower where the Medusa pit was. Put us here. The Medusa is no longer there. You are not in your form, and you don't. So as you guys get to the top of the tower, boom, he's right underneath Cyrene. As you guys get up there, everything looks exactly the same as it was before. On the inside of the tower, you can still sort of hear the, I guess, the dripping lake acid making the puddles and coming out of the walls and stuff like that from some unknown source. But nothing, as you're looking in, especially those with dark vision, you don't see anything moving around. You see all the shattered glass still about. That has not changed. So what does the party do?
We should probably
Rest.
here before we attempt to enter, since
Mm-hmm.
there's supposed to be a guardian of some kind.
Agreed.
I definitely agree.
While you guys are resting, the sun starts to go down at some point. The wind continues to blow through the night. You can hear it howling and whistling outside. No, you don't hear anything but like deranged laughter coming from a far end of the city. And I mean, it's the same pitch as the Kinku priestess, so obviously she's having fun right now. Other than that, you guys can go ahead and benefit from a long rest real fast. And if you wish to do any RP or anything like that, does anybody do a watch of any sort?
Well,
I think
Obviously,
definitely.
yeah, technically Lacan never actually sleeps. He just has to have 4 hours of like downtime and then afterwards, so he's technically keeping watch.
Okay. Is anyone else worried about Alfric? Why didn't he come through the portal?
I assumed that he decided to be a permanent student of Polish. It was a tempting idea.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. That kind of would be something he would do.
That's
It's
true.
kind of annoying that he didn't tell us anything about it, but that's fine.
No, of course he wouldn't. Oh, Brady.
Yo.
Real quick, I know like our time frame is up. My
That you're
time frame is
what?
up. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I know that my time frame is up. What was my armor class before my wooden mass spell? Because I think it was like 15, 16, something like.
So if you look in the center of your sheet, below where all your attacks are, there's a little checkbox for your Mask of Wood and Earth. Whenever you have that spell activated, you'll have that checkbox and it'll change your AC. When you don't have it up, you uncheck it and it changes it back.
You're the
Pretty
goat.
cool.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gracias.
So what does the party talk about while you guys rest before falling asleep?
This freaking day we've had, man. Jesus. I mean, not all
I
fun.
guess.
You guys okay? Everybody cool? Mental state okay?
I'm a little bit not okay. Can I trust you guys to help me stay alive?
Oh,
We'll
I'm
do
not
our
gonna let you
absolute
die.
best.
It's honestly not really so much about your intentions as whether or not you feel you are capable.
I am totally capable.
We've got your back.
I will
Like
do
you
my
said
best to
yourself.
keep you alive.
Is anybody else worried about what we'll encounter once we break that bauble?
Yeah, but I mean,
I am definitely worried about that.
just stay in the back, Hope. I mean, like kind of like normal, but like make it look normal. I don't want the creature to target you. I won't let it. If it worse comes to worse, I'll summon my most powerful construct and have it protect you.
I will absolutely not stay in the back.
I mean, I'm not gonna stay in the back. I don't want anything to happen to Hope, so I'm gonna step up.
I appreciate that.
We got your back. You're part of our team now.
So, do you think absorb elements or, I guess, invisibility would be more useful for the upcoming battle? I don't know what kind of guardians are inside of these pillars.
Maybe we should kind of wait and gauge it.
Are
Invisibility might be useful.
I'm trying to prepare
Are you
spells.
capable of staying invisible?
I mean, it's kind of a lesser invisibility, so I can't really do much as far as combat goes.
If you're incapable of acting and can only hide, then perhaps absorbing elements will be of greater benefit.
That's true.
Yeah.
Are any of you good with guns or firearms, such as a hand cannon?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Are any of you incapable of seeing in the dark?
I'm good with darkness. But I
I'm
don't know
cool
about
with
the
the dark.
others.
I can see in the dark, so.
Okay. Don't need to do that.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I pulled a Gerald.
Oh! Do you think... Have you been in a pillar of the Lightbringer before? Any of you?
No. Well, we've been to one temple, but we've never been to the pillars before. So, if it's anything like the temple, then it is gonna be, I don't know, pretty temple-y, but...
Oh. Do you think there will be a lot of locked things?
The temple provided a puzzle. It did not provide a guardian.
Alright, well, I don't have to change those.
Real quick, those new items that you have, there are 2 of them that require attunement. The boots of striding and springing, and the wings of flying. Who will be attuning to them?
I shall.
Hold on.
Both of them?
Do we not
Yeah.
get to keep
This
the
should
ones that we picked up
this should
separately?
more be a party discussion, and
I would definitely.
we'll also
like
have to
link once I
revisit
pick
the
them up.
loot. Yeah, we'll have to go by the loot as well from the last session, because I just realized that we did not go over who got what from that. Whoops.
So the cloak can help you fly, but the boots let you do jumping stuff.
Well, I think the boots should be the ones worn by people who are more, like, weapon combat heavy. Who wear
have
armor.
a good
So,
chance of being controlled by physical means.
yeah, so like Lacan maybe, or Kai.
Kai. Not Kai. Shojin. Shojin? Shojin. Are you able to take advantage of flying very well? Do you have many ranged attacks?
I have an extreme array of ranged attacks and close range. I have both.
But didn't you
Bread and
just
butter?
say that you were going to be on the front lines?
Yeah, I can fly and be on the front
Trying to
lines.
think. Okay.
Someone's being stingy.
I just want to know, like, what your battle plan is for using the cloak, if it comes down to it.
It depends on what happens.
Also, for the boots, just so you're aware, because I don't think any of you guys have ever attempted jumping as much as like Saberwolf in the other campaign does. But essentially, the way it works is to do the long jump, you have to move 10 feet, and then you can jump up to your strength score. What these boots do is they would triple that strength score of what you can jump. you can't move more, or you can't jump more movement than you have available. So, for instance, like Lacan has a speed of, what is it, 30? And if you go in your madness state, you have a speed of 40, right?
45.
45. So you'd be able to move 10 feet and you'd be able to jump 30, an additional 35 feet, because your strength score is high enough to reach that. If you take the dash action, now you have more movement to where you can actually take advantage of the triple jump speed. So essentially, you'd have to use the dash action to be able to jump high distances and stuff like that. But this makes it to where now you don't have to like use your movement to climb and stuff like that.
You know what?
Also,
I'll take the...
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. My bad. I didn't.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say I'll take the bag of tricks then. I would like to pass my vote in for the bag of tricks instead of the wings of. I feel like I can convince Qualish, if we make it back, to make a different type of thing. Maybe, hopefully, but I'd rather have the bag.
I explicitly do not want to have to hold on to the bag of tricks. That sounds like it would have a lot of bad repercussions with my current bag.
Then
I don't actually know this, but I don't want to take any chances with it.
What about those cool spell books you have? What do those do?
Well, these are notes. I have Polish's notes, and this is a book for how to build a golem, I guess, but I can't read it because it hurts me. I am literally too weak to comprehend what is in this book.
Can I actually hold on?
It's okay. You'll get there, Hope.
I would like to, because having an iron golem would probably be extremely useful. I also got a lot of valuable materials for artificy stuff, and like his actual notes.
Very cool.
Why are your items all self-keep? He gave me group items. Me and Qualis gotta talk when I get back.
Items that Hope have are of her own creation.
The ones we found in the workshop?
No, the only thing she got from the workshop, she got, that manual, which was the only magic item she found. And then she got a bunch of like books that are worth stuff and other material components.
So how does loot work if we just find like one item? Is it always like we have to distribute it, or?
The way I see it is you all have to determine who gets what. Granted, if you want to try to, take stuff without other people knowing, send me a whisper. Like, for instance, or not even that. So, like, for instance, when you were like, I want to check out what's on this table, and you started touching stuff, and I started giving you the descriptions, you're going to be like, I want to take it, but I want to try to do it without people noticing. It'd be sleight of hand check versus everybody's passive perception. Unless they explicitly, when you're like, I want to start looking at stuff, and someone for their actions like, I specifically watch Shojin very carefully, then it'd be an perception check on theirs versus your sleight of hand. Otherwise, it's up to you guys on how you distribute. I put no part in it. I just give you the stuff, and you guys fight over it.
Hold on. So does loot kind of work like well, never mind. No, I'm thinking it works like how it works in Rome, where like if you both agree on something, you have to roll high to see who gets it. I don't know.
No, you guys literally have to discuss and figure out. Now, if you can't come to a decision, we could do a roll off and be like, all right, I get it. Sho really wants this, and Kai really wants this. They're literally fighting over it like teenagers would. And then we could have like just roll a d20. Whoever gets the highest gets to use it for now, if that's what y'all want to do. But otherwise, it's a group effort to distribute. That includes all the gold and items that have gold values to them.
So if because like on the off chance if somebody's like, oh, I want to, or the person who secretly does it, do they have to verbally tell everybody that, hey, I'm doing this.
Yeah,
You
if they
can
find
whisper.
something, you can either whisper it to me and I'll have you roll if you want to try to keep it a secret. But typically, like unless you guys are like, let's say you get into Qualish's lab, for instance, and when Martin and Dallas went to go look for stuff, if they explicitly say, "Hey, I go look at stuff, but I don't take anything unless I think I can take it, without anyone noticing," then but obviously it's up to you guys as players to not metagame being like, hey, did you take something from over there? Because if you didn't, or if he rolled high enough, he should be able to be rewarded by stealing from you guys. You guys just know as a player that that's what he's up to.
Okay, so pretty much the
You just
first
don't know
person
he's
who
doing
says
it.
that we're doing. Okay, so
Okay.
whoever
Kinda.
says it first gets to do it.
But like, if let's say also, for instance, in here, like when Hope went back and looked into the coffin, nobody's around. You guys have no idea that she went and looked in the coffin and got stuff. Now, if you guys destroy everything and then afterwards everyone's looking around, more than likely, unless like you're alone, more than likely it's going to be a little harder to take stuff. Especially the bigger it is, the less likely I am to be like, you get a roll. It really just depends on what everyone's doing. If no one says that they're looting and they all start moving to the next room, you can be like, I want to loot the room. What do I find? And, we go from there.
Okay. Okay. No, at least I have a better grasp on it because I was quite confused on how it worked.
Yeah, it's not you guys determine if you want to divvy it up fairly or if, hey, for this battle, you get all the stuff. Next battle, I get all the stuff, Y'all decide. I play no part. I just give you the stuff.
Okay. Well, I would like the bag of tricks. The tan bag of tricks.
I'm good on all the loot. I don't want any of.
I don't need any of it either.
Who wants the wings of flying then?
Oh, well, if nobody wants them, I'll take more than one, so somebody should definitely choose.
I would love to have wings of flying, but I have a cloak that I want to continue wearing for now.
Well, then I can hold on to them until you want it. I mean,
That's
yeah, they're
fine.
cool, but I think I definitely want the bag of tricks. It's just something I'd just rather have.
See, I want to keep my cloak on because it makes me good at hiding, and it makes it difficult for other people to see me because it, I guess, blends me into the environment.
And what about the boots?
I think the
You don't
boots should
have
probably go to
to.
Lacan
They're
if he
probably
wants
helpful.
them.
Does Lacan want the boots?
It'd probably be more beneficial for someone else that would need a jump-like ability. I don't need the boots to go up distances.
That is true.
True.
I mean,
And
Kai,
you
you
don't
wouldn't want
have
the
to
boots?
attune. If no one wants to attune and you guys just want them to possibly use as selling fodder later, that is also perfectly fine.
I'll take the boots.
Okay.
So I think it would make sense for someone to be able to fly and jump. I just can't pay one.
I'm just gonna use them to sell them. I have a
I think
negative
Kai
2 in
has the
strength.
least ability. I think Kai has the least ability to get across gaps, so that makes sense.
Yeah, actually.
Well,
Very
he's still
minimal.
the
it's
way
a
it
strength
works for
modifier
Kai.
thing.
Yeah, your strength it's not your modifier, it's your strength score, which his is 6. So you times that by 3, he can jump 18 feet with these boots.
Up.
So it's actually beneficial, and you have to move 10 feet. You can jump, and I'm gonna round it up to 20 because 18 is a weird number. So you can jump up to 20 feet with those boots.
You barely touch the ledge and you fall. You take
Whee.
6 damage for hitting the ground.
Ouch.
And what are they called?
The boots of striding and springing.
No, you mentioned you forgot to divvy up last session's loot. Was that monetary?
Forgot to
value?
have you guys discuss the monetary value stuff. There was, let's see, where was it? There it is. It was a gold necklace that was worth 1,200 gold, a pair of gold bracers, each worth 375 gold, and 10 gem-studded gold rings worth 50 gold.
The only reason Hope would ever want the bracers, other than like selling them, would be to look cool AF.
That would honestly have been my reason. I think a pinky ring.
Since everything's metal, Cyrene will let you guys figure out what if you guys want them, or if we sell them, then she'll take some of that profit. But I don't actually want to wear any of it.
Can I keep a pinky ring?
I'm sure we can just end up selling it later.
I mean, we can side table it and discuss it after we go face the thing. Or next time we have to come up with like a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, actually, I vote we kind of maybe just keep them because I mean, money. Some people don't like. I don't know. Maybe like we can trade them. Some creature might be like, dang, gold rings. You can pass through my whatever, like cave or enter my here. Or
Another
we can
barter. You can barter with them.
Yeah, because we already have gold. So I mean, worst case, if we never have a use of bartering with them, we can just sell them and get actual money. And so I think we should just keep them in our possession until then.
How'd you get gold, Shoji?
Huh? I couldn't hear you.
I will put inside of inside where your character sheets are located. There is a group loot handout. I'll type this stuff in for you guys, and when you decide to sell it or wear it, you can go in and we'll edit it as need be.
Where is it?
It's inside where the players and inside first. It should be like towards the top.
Okay, I see it.
Hey yo, what up?
Yeah, I don't know who did that, but it's hilarious.
That was me.
And it is updated. Cool. So as you guys rest and recover, you wish to do any more RP stuff? We're also still not on the new rules yet. Not until after this, essentially after you guys, I think actually next session we'll be starting it. So after this pillar we should be done.
During the rest, I would keep an eye on the bauble area. On the off chance Afric came out, but at a later time.
Okay. And everybody else, I assume, ends up going to sleep and, doing what you do. No means yes. So, Lacan, as you...
Whoa, no means yes. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with this train of thought.
Well, too bad. I'm just joking. Nothing being said means yes. So Kai, as you stay up for 2 hours, what do you talk to Lacan about, if anything?
what happened to your face?
What do you mean, what happened? Pretty obvious, is it not?
No, it's not.
I've been in the giant lake of acid for an extended period of time.
Is it gonna heal itself?
No.
So you don't heal at all?
Not in the same way. You heal. This body is dead after all.
So you can't like feel anything? Not kind of poke at him a little bit?
My senses still work, but I am not attached to the body as I used to be when I was alive.
Oh, do you miss being alive?
Right now, that doesn't really matter to me.
Why? I mean, it was a lot of cool stuff when you were alive. Right? You don't miss it, like the rush, I guess. I don't know.
That was, how should I put it, taken from me many years ago.
Oh yeah? What did you do? What
It is not
happened?
what I did, it is what my family did.
Oh, what's up with that? What's wrong with your family? Why do you think they do stuff like that? And why are you not doing it?
You do know who I am, do you not? Real quick, has he been around for the whole NPCs know who I am, they sniff me out? Wait, well,
No, I
Mary?
wasn't here for that. I
No.
wasn't here for that.
Mm-mm.
He has no idea that you and Cyrene are royal.
I think almost at this point, pretty much Lacan and I are the only ones that know each other's royal.
Well, Alfric would know. It's
Well, yeah, but Alfric's not here right now,
yeah, everyone
so.
else is new characters at this point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who the Titanians are?
Kai, go ahead and roll a history, and we'll see how much you know.
Dang.
Yeah, you pretty much know. You know that they are kind of a big deal when it comes to war. They're definitely one of the strongest, if not the strongest, empire. They mostly consist of like crafting armors and weapons to make sure that they're strong, and they also, as of late, have been crafting a lot of these sort of machines of war. You know that the
Hell
royal
yeah,
family is rather large, but you don't know how large, as you know, you've never been there, I don't think. But they're also a somewhat secretive people.
they're my role model.
I'm ignoring that, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Um, so why, how did you turn out different? Like, why aren't you following them?
Because they are responsible for the death of my younger sister.
Oh, I guess I could understand that. Like, so like responsible how? Like they just.
Responsible in many ways. She grew ill at one point. I believe my father had something to do with it, but I could never figure it out. Her illness only got worse as time went on, and she was deemed too weak, and so they sent her off to one of the cities on the outskirts of the land. And without making the story too long, I was with her, and an explosion happened one day, taking her life and almost taking mine.
So you think, I guess, whatever quest that you're on personally will fix any of this? I guess for you, give you that sense of feeling alive again?
It will definitely fix some of the world's problems. After all, they are a warmongering nation.
Yeah, that is a bit weird. Well, Lacan, you're alright. I hope you find whatever it is that you need so you can, I guess, feel better. I don't know, because you're dead now, so I don't get it.
You don't have to understand. My goal will be done once the royal family is gone.
And then what after that?
I don't know. It would depend on the Shadow Lord at that point.
Oh. Does this Shadow Lord ever talk to you?
If he can, he has not so far. I only spoke to him initially when I was in his realm.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, just in case somebody talks to you like how they talk to me, but all right, buddy. I guess I'm gonna take a nap now.
Brady, if I were to, would it be possible that I could try to focus on the blade and kind of talk or feel a connection, since it pulls the souls to his realm?
Sure.
As if I could form.
Roll me. Let's do Arcana. So as Kai rolls over or starts to yawn and get comfortable and go to sleep on his own, you take this time to pull out your blade and sort of sit it in your lap. And as you concentrate on it, you can feel the tether that this sword has to a different either place or being, but you can't feel anything beyond that. Perhaps with time, you could grow this bond stronger.
All right, well then I'll put it away after that.
Okay. So the night goes on with Lacan, you just hearing the demented laughter coming from afar. You can hear sort of like banging noises. Your best guess is that coffin is getting tossed around and hitting different buildings and stuff like that. A couple times you hear some loud splashes, but it's not enough to wake anybody up because it's on the other side of the city. So, but you all wake up the next morning. You can hear the wind howling as it was the night, or this whole time you've been in the mountains. So as everyone starts to wake up, what do you do?
Okay. So we're all rested. We're all good to go. Who has the mallet that he gave us?
I would imagine it'd be Kai or Sho because those two are the ones next to him.
Okay.
Kai.
Hold on, what?
Do you have the mallet?
Anyone who wants the mallet may have it.
I give them the mallet, or I present the mallet.
Okay.
The mallet is made out of some sort of like obsidian stone. You can see the sort of rough, intricate like details to it, and you can feel a like slight magical tinge to it, but it's nothing as powerful as like the items that you guys just found.
I'm gonna look in the coffin and see what's in there.
From what you can see, there is nothing, but for shits and giggles, roll an investigation.
Okay.
Do you have to be the one to modify dark vision, Brady?
Yes, and I should have done it.
So like my typical finding abilities. That's cool.
I did do it, but it didn't save.
It's probably because it's this an old token. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Now it works.
Yeah, the whole refreshing the token thing.
Okay, let me do a thing real fast. Cool. All right. Yeah, you look in and there's just a bunch of dust. You can
Okay.
see where there were what looks to be like the base of some statues at the the foot end, as well as two sort of longer silhouettes of dust that was either like a scroll holder, something like that.
Okay, so
Obviously,
obviously
like,
no sign
yeah.
of the bauble.
No, Hope has the bauble.
Oh, okay. Wait, that was with the Medusa?
Correct. I don't believe you left it. I mean, if he did, it'd be easy to retcon. But
I have it.
are you there? Okay, yeah. Hope does have it.
Cool.
We should probably break the bubble at this location.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Are we ready? Has everyone
Let's-
done their spell preparation for the day?
Oh wait, hold on. Actually, give me like a minute. Let me double check.
My spell preparation remains pretty much the same from last time. I could probably sub out road tree or something.
Same, but I think I want to change.
We can move forward while y'all think about it.
Oh yeah. I'm good. Sorry,
Okay.
should have clarified. Let's do this.
The Hope presents the bauble. Shojin has the mallet. Who wishes to do the honors?
Well, we know Kai shouldn't.
Roasted.
He'd probably
I want to do it.
He'd probably break his hand doing it.
Can you even pick it up, shrimp?
I mean, since I don't want to waste time, I'll go ahead and smash it.
I toss it to Lacan.
So Lacan grabs the mallet and the bauble. He places it onto the altar, and he rears back, goes into smash. First hit. You guys kind of look around as this sound reverberated all throughout this location. Rears back, goes in for a second hit. And the bauble's starting to crack. He goes in and continues to, much like when he was in his blacksmithing days, and starts to wail on this thing. And it takes, even though you guys know Lacan is very strong, but it still takes him about 12 seconds of beating the shit out of this thing before it finally breaks. And with each hit, and as he hits the last time, it explodes with this sort of darkish energy. And as that happens, you guys feel much like when you touched Qualish's bauble. You can feel your essences being pulled. And as you come to land, you can hear bubblings. You look around and you can see this large pool of acid. You're not sure how deep it is, but it's not like the acid lake. This is stuff that's definitely more deadly than that. And as you look around, everything seems like this space is much like Qualish's. It goes on forever into this dark abyss from all sides, and except for down. Of course, down is a large green acid lake. As you look up, it's just infinite, but you see something up there. And it looks like these very large hands, and they start to apparate into existence. And in front of you, if I can do this right, you see not one, but you see two hands in front of you. And then you see this larger creature apparate. And with that, we will end tonight's session.
Is that the pillar?
No.
Well,
But as it comes into existence, that's what it sounds like.
Looks like Master Hand.
Cool.
Jeez, this is gonna be dangerous.
What was that?
yeah, that's the point.
The Microsoft like space cadet pinball game.
Is that what the sound is from?
That's what it sounds like.
I'll tell you what it's from after next session so that I don't accidentally give away anything. I will put you guys back on the landing page. Let me end my stream, and then I have something I need to tell everybody. Until then, give me 1 second. So that was a good session. A lot of roleplay, which is, it's a nice change of pace, especially for me. As the DM, sometimes you just need a break, let the players, play it out with each other, and you kind of just sit. And yeah, this story arc hasn't had a lot where that could happen, but luckily they were able to talk to Qualish, get a lot of good info, and then talk to each other about it. So that was really cool. So next session, they're going to be fighting this creature, and oh boy, this is going to be a doozy. So hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time.